Welcome to Ballers and Briefs for the Sunday Week 15 kickoff. This is December the 16th. If you're in the playoffs, welcome to the playoffs. Like I said in the description, where the players play. And if you are one of those people that are waiting to next week and you're just 1 week out, you're on the outside looking in, whatever. And you're in my case, you were the number 1 seed. And you just seem to fucking fall apart, and you're starting to fall down the seeding board, or you're like my friend down here, who I'm crying for the last 2 weeks because I'm seeing bench points pile up where I shouldn't be.
It happens. Didn't think Jordan Addison would go off today, but I didn't see that connection with Mullins as strong as I guess I needed to see it. I guess I was burned too many times by Josh Dobbs and crew. I didn't think Addison would be a strong play, but
I saw the meme.
outside of
I saw the memes where they said Josh Dobbs sent Jetta to the hospital, so they you're going to third string, buddy.
never again,
Yeah.
never again do you get to throw to Justin Jefferson.
No. Nope.
But it's all good. I still got my starting lineup, and we'll see if that's enough. For the 12 man, I need some losses and a win today, and we'll see what happens. But I still got the 10 man going strong, and so I'm still happy about where I'm at there, and the team's chances to go ahead and take that one. So
Yeah.
that'll be exciting. At least make the playoffs on one of them.
I mean, we're in the playoffs in that one now, so we're in the first round. So it's
Yeah.
it's interesting to see. So it theoretically could be you and I in the finals, which would be a first in 10 years of doing this.
Yeah. Who do you have? Who are you playing?
In the 10 man, it's
Yeah.
SEMA. So I have SEMA.
Oh
So, yeah,
man.
2
Oh
weeks, 2 weeks of
man.
my wife, and
Dang.
this fluke picks winning championships.
Somebody gotta go home and the Warden house not gonna be happy, is what you're saying then.
Yeah,
Man.
but it's
And you gotta live with that for 365 at least. Man, that's cold.
yeah, and of course it's
That's
like
cold.
her first year of playing, so she might knock me out, in the after the first round. So we get 2 weeks to make things.
Man.
And I lost Michael Pittman today to concussion, so that could be a 2 week banger. So I don't know, man. Seems like receivers are starting to drop just like quarterbacks, where receivers are falling apart this season. It's getting to be rough.
Is Kai team SEMA or team Pops, where's she leaning right now?
She's team mom all day, every day, and just
Yeah, I figure so. I
that's how
figure
they
so.
are. That's how the kids
Yeah,
are. Their team mom.
yeah.
I mean,
Always.
because
Always.
they attached to the mom for like 9 months. They were in and out of dad real quick. So like, yeah, right. So they attached the mom for 9 months, and then after that they just like, oh yeah, she's like, mommy, I want mom to win, and of
Man,
course how it is. But
man.
that it is what it is. It's getting there. But yeah, I'm excited that it's a possibility that we are on the precipice of making history in our fantasy. I mean, theoretically we could do it. We could do it in both leagues, but in at least one for sure. We gotta.
I need a lot of people to go off tomorrow. I need a lot of people to go off. But we'll see what happens. Come on, Lamar. Come on. Come on, Lamar, please. For me. If you're out there and you're listening, for me, please, tomorrow. Take me to the playoffs.
I mean, he could. He
Are you
could.
good? Are you
I
good?
mean, you need it against your team in Jacksonville at Duval. You need it against them.
I, I hope he throws for 5 touchdowns, but then somehow we still win.
I can't.
That's the
I
way you gotta
I
look at
can.
that one.
I mean, I had to make the decision today for waiver wire. I mean, waiver quarterback. I mean, it's like Did I want to start Gardner Minshew again when I started him last week and he didn't do it the shit? And I didn't start Trevor Lawrence and he did do good. And then I was like, oh, I picked up Will Levis. Then maybe I want to play him against Houston. And I was like, nah, I don't think he's gonna replicate because it's a division game. It's gonna be a give it to Derrick Henry type game. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna settle on T-Law prime time. Let's just see if he can. I know it feels like gnashing his teeth over here. Like, why the you doing this shit again? I've told you a million times before, but he is the only quarterback in fantasy season-long purposes for everybody out there to have consecutive weeks of 3 consecutive weeks, I believe, of 25 points consecutively.
Now he's about to come back down to earth. And
hey, it was in everything. All the quarterbacks that were on the waiver wire available in a league where there's no limit to quarterbacks and everybody's out here grabbing them. And you're in the playoffs, no one's going to trade you a quarterback. You got to take the best of the bad situation. And I thought Steelers were going to get after Gardner Minshew today, and I never would have thought that he was going to put up 20-plus points. And so I got to take my lumps, going to take my chances, and hopefully T-Law shows to the world in Duval tomorrow night and shocks the world and shows that, okay, well, I may go down 27 points, but I'm gonna turn it on and at the right time and bring them back and put 27 on the fantasy scoreboard tomorrow. That's fine with me. So they could lose, and for all I care, I just need him to put points up. So, but
I don't think we're discussing the Jaguars sort of Ravens game. I don't think it's really in the slot tonight, but I did have actually one of my Keele Athletics Starter of the weeks is actually in the that Sunday night matchup. I actually do like Zay Flowers tomorrow for the Ravens receiver. The last 2 weeks he's had I believe 2 touchdowns, plus he's had 8+ targets. And his last game, I believe he's had 10 targets. So he's really starting to find that connection with Jackson since the exit of Mark Andrews. And so again, I like that play as well against this Jaguars defense. For one, most specifically, is that our best cornerback, Tyson Campbell, is already been ruled out. I believe Herndon may be just coming back from a concussion. And so we definitely have a little, and Andre Cisco has been dealing with some injuries. He might start, but because of that weakness in the secondary, when you have that shiftier, almost Debo Samuel style player, he's gonna have some advantages in that secondary. So again, to kind of start him off, even though he's not really in our slate, but I still want to go ahead and rock some love to him again as Zay Flowers tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't dislike that play at all. Just the simple fact of the matter is, I just got a question from somebody on the Facebook page earlier. Sent me a problem. Well, they messed around and forgot to take Josh Jacobs out of their lineup on Thursday, and they're in the first round of the playoffs. And the projections right now, even with the big fat zero of Josh Jacobs, is they have a chance. And they have Tyreek Hill, who is questionable, which I'm pretty sure we'll kind of a little bit gloss over that game a little bit because it's such a low scoring total. But and because there people are saying no possibility of no Tyreek Hill, which is going to kill points, right? But he was like, who do I plug in here in this case? And on the waiver wire was like OBJ and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I was like, well, at this point with Jackson Smith and Jigba, his matchup against Philadelphia on Monday is not terrible. I think he's going to be great. It's going to be a good matchup. But with that being said, OBJ has been on a tear as of late with that injury that's come up, just like you said, with Mark Andrews being out. Lamar Jackson is having to get it to his people he trusts. And it seems to be the only people he trusts to throw the ball to is OBJ and Zay Flowers. But Isaiah Likely is starting to make that trend back up the hill. So it could be that one of the two receivers kind of fall back down to earth tomorrow. But, I mean, for recently where we've been, I don't ever at the point where I don't trust the freaking Baltimore receiver outside of Mark Andrews when he was around. Now I'm like, I don't know who to trust because he's throwing the ball to two of them and the tight end now. So I said I like JSN just because I think his matchup is probably going to be a little bit better, and he doesn't have to. He's going to have to compete obviously with Lockett and DK for catches, but I think it lends to they're going to have Slay on DK or Lockett, and then Bradbury on one of them too, and that just leaves a linebacker essentially or a nickel or whatever on JSN, and I see JSN just kind of eating.
I think
Against
definitely you want to kind of go for those maybe the boom. I kind of call them boomer bust type players, but I think when you're down, and you have, for instance, already one guy with 0 points, you have to try to look for that guy that may have a higher ceiling, even though it may be a little bit riskier, such as in the case of that with JSN. That may be a little bit of a riskier play because you're talking about a three versus potentially a number one with OBJ, but how much production do you see? I could potentially see maybe 4 for 60 and no touchdowns, or I could potentially see maybe a touchdown there, but how much yardage, I don't know. So whereas JSN, I think may end up getting more due to the fact that I could see Seattle being down. So then there could potentially be more target share. Whereas if Ravens get up tomorrow, they're definitely going to get to that running game going, and so
yeah.
then there won't be as much pass production.
And then another name he threw out there would be Gabe Davis, and he has Gabe Davis. He's got to drop Gabe Davis for JSN or OBJ. And I was like,
Uh,
well, Gabe Davis is that most volatile. I would say the most volatile player out of the three of those because
yeah,
the simple fact of the matter is he goes to sleep for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, and then he'll come back
yep,
and have a 20-point game, and then you won't see him again for 3 or 4 weeks.
and
And
then disappears.
but with the simple fact of the matter is, I think that even though that I'm pretty sure that's probably a game that Phil wants to target because of the over and under between Dallas and Buffalo.
Yeah,
I don't know in season long fantasy where you're trying to get that production, right? Where Gabe Davis is going to be he's the ultimate boomer bust. And this is going to be, okay, we're going to get Stephon Gilmore on Stephon Diggs. And then Deron Bland is going to probably be on Gabe Davis, working between
most
Gabe
likely.
Davis and Khalil
Shakir.
Shakir. So,
Yeah,
I mean, all it takes is Josh Allen to make one stupid mistake, and there you've lost that one good touchdown that Gabe Davis was going to get. So I think OBJ or JSN, and I personally like JSN out of the three of those better. But with that being said, Phil, you wanna kick it off with the first game on the slate?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not.
Snooze fest.
Yeah, I'm not touching anything except for the last three games, which are San Francisco at Arizona, Redskins at LA, and Dallas at Buffalo. The
Okay.
rest of these games, if anything, maybe Garrett Wilson in the Jets game, Jaden Reed in the Green Bay game, and that's it.
Okay. Well, let's all right.
First
See.
game's Atlanta at Carolina, snooze fest.
We could
Division
chat
rival, 33-point over under.
a little bit.
Maybe you want an Atlanta running back, but I don't like two-headed backfields. I know Algier hasn't really been two-headed, but it's there.
It's been Cordero Patterson's kind of. I've seen a lot more than what I expected to see this season in there. Just a couple of thoughts. I mean, I know, like I said, this is playoff or bust, right? So for season long, I personally like Atlanta's defense tomorrow. Just for the simple fact of the matter is because they just the Panthers just ain't it. Like they ain't it. They ain't got. I don't think that they're living up to par, and I think that organization is in a proverbial shit show right now. I mean, there's quite a few injuries on both sides of the ball. I'm not even going to go through them all. For both teams, there's quite a few questionables. The most standout injury that I see on here that would make anybody that's on fantasy relevant is Young Wei Koo, the kicker for Atlanta. He's been a machine, except for last week. He was missing left or right. But if I'm somebody, I wouldn't sleep on the defense tomorrow. I mean, I'm just saying like that. That's really the only viable, even DFS play that I think of. If you don't have a Bijan, I think and I'm not even looking at Drake London's way tomorrow. Like I don't even like Drake London either. I just don't like anybody from this game not named an Atlanta defense. It just doesn't. I don't like it at all. I just don't like the game because I feel like these two teams, like they're both those two teams that play to their competition in a way. And I don't even think Carolina plays up to their competition. They just drag their competition down, if that makes any sense. They're so bad that they make the team that they're playing come down to them and they try to beat them in the muck, right? Like it's just so bad. They're just so bad. And I feel bad for guys like Adam Thielen, but I think that Atlanta's defense is probably viable tomorrow if you're looking for a defense. And I bet they're probably, well, in ownership wise, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth highest owned defense, which is like above the Browns and the Chiefs defense. So people are seeing kind of what I'm seeing, that they're middle of the road defense tomorrow. And if you're looking for a playoff boomer bust defense, this is probably one that you could throw up there tomorrow, and hope to the football gods that they don't get shit on by Bryce Young, who can't seem to get anything going.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
3-point spread. 3-point spread to Atlanta in Carolina. I think Atlanta wins. I think they cover the 3 points.
Yeah, Carolina's dog shit.
Yeah, they're bad.
I like Atlanta tomorrow. Kind of hoping Kyle Pitts can kind of show off that first round grade a little bit. Maybe find some openings versus that Carolina defense tomorrow. Maybe they get sucked up by the run game. Potentially there for a tight end perspective, sort of lower end, but needing it for fantasy.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to another, which this game, the next game that I see on here, Phil, Chicago at Cleveland. I don't know why. Now, I don't know why this game has such a low scoring total. There's not a massive amount of injuries on this that I expected this game to be this low. Maybe for the simple fact of the matter is the Bears have DJ Moore questionable with that ankle injury. But other than that, I don't really see why it's so bad. Maybe because of the Browns defense have some players that are out, like Denzel Ward is questionable and Juan Thornhill, the safety, is out. But I mean, they're shitting on Joey. I got one Super Bowl Flacco. And then they just think Justin Fields is not going to do anything against this defense.
He didn't do shit last week. And yeah, Browns defense is pretty solid. And they don't score the ball. So, yep, dead game.
Yeah, I think that, last week Joe Flacco was able to benefit from having, Njoku wide open on two of those touchdowns. I don't know if they're able to continue to keep scheming it up that way tomorrow. I think that's probably what Vegas is seeing as well, with that low total. I trust that. If you're also looking for a defense, this is also sort of one of those matchups, just like with the Atlanta defense. I actually like the Browns defense as well. Just with that matchup against that Chicago's defensive line. Offensive line, and their ability to sort of keep Justin Fields upright tomorrow.
I mean, if you're looking for somebody to play this game tomorrow, I think that's probably, you got to continue the trend of like Jerome Ford. I mean, if like this is for season long, because I've got him, and I'm hoping that he outperforms tomorrow, just because the Bears' run defense is not the greatest. It's pretty shitty. So I'm hoping that they just, Joe Flacco just here, and we just get a high dose of him. I do not want to see Kareem Hunt tomorrow because that shit cut into my points last week. So but I don't trust anybody else really in this game. With the fact of the matter, kind of, I guess, with like what y'all just said, that it's kind of a dead game because of the fact that the defense is better. But I mean, like Justin Fields' ownership, I mean, it's just less. It's like 5%, and he's not got a high projection.
He had a matchup of a lifetime last week, and he didn't do shit. So
Yeah, I feel
now
like
he doesn't. So that's why the game's dead.
What's the?
Well, I'm not fucking with it.
What's
I'm
the
done
spread?
fucking with Fields. Dude, he's had like one game that was good this year.
yeah,
What's the spread?
3 points to the Browns.
Browns all day.
I think maybe
I
2.5,
the Browns.
maybe.
I like the Browns to keep that momentum going.
3 even to the Browns. Yeah.
Flacco.
I think that they are. They're playing for their playoff lives right now too. So I think that's a solid pick too. So with that being said, I guess let's just keep it on rolling. To another game I feel like this one's high. 42.5 for Tampa at Green Bay. And
I don't know if it's high. That's kind of low,
Both
but
teams are playing pretty solid offensive wise. Jordan Love is kind of started finding his way. I could see 3 touchdowns, at least 21 points from Broncos, and the opposite side.
3.5 points.
I mean, not Broncos. Excuse me. For the Packers tomorrow with Jordan Love, and then for Tampa Bay, same side.
I need Green Bay to win this, so I'm rooting for Green Bay. And then Jaden Reed had like 10 targets last week, so he's like somebody to monitor. I know Mike Evans shit the bed last week, so this could be one of those. He's not going to be very high owned. You get some ownership to him, but if I'm doing like 150 max or 20 max, I might get a little bit of him. If you're doing single entry, I wouldn't take anybody from this game.
So you got just significant injuries. Chris Godwin is questionable. Half of the defense for the Buccaneers, half of the good deep parts of the defense are questionable. Vita Vea, Devin White, Jamel Dean. They'll be without William Golston, Carlton Davis, and Ryan Neal. So there's pretty much half their defense. Maybe that's what they're seeing. And then Packers, Christian Watson is more than likely not going to play. Still with that hammy. AJ Dillon is questionable. Aaron Jones is questionable. Dontavian Wicks is questionable. Jair Alexander is still questionable. And Eric Stokes is still questionable. And Darnell Savage is still questionable. So essentially, this could be just Baker Mayfield and Jordan Love out here chucking it and ducking it. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I see that gimmick. I see the Jaden Reed play probably being a good play tomorrow. Just because of some of the fact of the matter is I feel like they're getting him involved as much as they can. I mean, he's high owned. He's high owned as shit. Like it's right around 20%. So I mean, it's because he's cheap too. So, but if you have him in season long, I think you have to rock him because the simple fact of the matter, especially if they don't have Christian Watson tomorrow, I think he's probably one of those guys that's going to get you that he's looking for 12, 13 points. I mean, shit, 2 number ones today in Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson didn't even break 15 points, or basically broke 15 points.
I only put Jefferson in 2 lineups. I'm hyped. But I only put T. Higgins in 2 lineups and Addison in 2 lineups, so screwed myself.
Yeah, number 2. This was the day of the number 2s. I mean, I did not expect, and then this could be Jamar Chase having to hang him up for the rest of the season. I don't know, depending on whatever the shoulder injury is, and I may be dead in the water after that. But so I don't know. Like I said, it's 3.5 to Green Bay. It's in Green Bay. I think that probably Green Bay probably wins this ball game. Mike Evans is only 7% owned, and I think if there is no Jair Alexander and no Eric Stokes tomorrow, I think Mike Evans is probably someone that is going to play like a pissed off man tomorrow because I feel like he's just so underappreciated. He's just one of those dudes. I don't know.
Well, he shit the bed last week, so like I said, he's going to be under-owned because of that. So it might be a good time to get in there on him.
And they should scheme him up this week because of that.
Yeah, 3.5 to Green Bay. I think. I don't know if I like 3.5. I think I like more like 3 even, but I don't know. What do y'all think? 3.5 or 3 even? What sounds better?
3.5. For who? Green Bay?
Yeah, 3.5 to Green Bay or 3. I like 3. I think
I have them at 3 with my book, but
ESPN has them at minus 3.5.
I like Tampa Bay versus the Packers tomorrow. I think they pull out the W.
The win. I think Green Bay wins the game, but I think that if it's 3, if you get it at 3.5, I think Buccaneers cover. But if it's 3 even, I think that the Packers win. So 42.5. Okay. Well, with that being said, I guess we can just kind of move on to the next one. NFC or AFC East showdown.
Jets at Miami.
Jets at the Miami Dolphins.
You could probably get excited about Wilson. That's about it.
It's because it's all they got. That's really it.
That and like Miami is exposable on the pass. So,
well, with that being said, questionable is the word here. On the side, they did open the practice window. They did activate. He's not activated off of IR yet, or technically he is. Aaron Rodgers. He could have played if he wanted, if they okayed him. His practice window was opened. So theoretically, I think that if they beat Miami tomorrow, we could see Aaron Rodgers as early as next week.
That doesn't make any sense.
If it happens, I am like, watching him, listening to him talk on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesdays is just like, I really did not like Aaron Rodgers, like just for the media's portrayal of him. Now, maybe him on Pat McAfee show is either him being cool or he's just putting on a facade. But if that's the Aaron Rodgers that is really Aaron Rodgers, kind of like I always thought Tom Brady was a douchebag his whole entire life until he went to Tampa and he started being cool afterwards. But if this is the Aaron Rodgers that is real life Aaron Rodgers in real life is cool as shit. And I'm rooting for the man. I hope he blows the doors off. Like, I really do. But a
buddy of mine, Sam Barrington, who was actually drafted by the Green Bay Packers, got a chance to play with Aaron Rodgers. When I talked to him, he said that years ago he had stated that during his time with Aaron Rodgers, he got to hang out with him like outside of every day, and he said that he was a really good dude, really cool, really chill, and really laid back. So I think if he was a prima donna or whatever, I think my buddy would have said that. But
I'm just saying,
everything I hear, he's a pretty good dude. So
the way
I know the
he
media
gives them
portrayal
ribs
is a little rough with maybe family and stuff, but
I mean the way that he ribs, like the way he ribs AJ Hawk and Pat McAfee and Darius Butler and AQ Shipley and those dudes that are like NFL dudes and like, you guys are a bunch of vaginas or whatever, like just whoever they talk shit to. And it's pretty cool. So like, I mean, I know they're all like boys, like, like NFL's kind of fraternity wise, right? But I know it's cool. But on the Dolphins side of the ball, Achane is questionable. Reek is questionable. Half of their offensive line is questionable. Xavier Howard,
I think Achane is going to be not playing,
which is a good thing for me.
It's probably a good thing for Mostert, but yeah. It's a low ass over under, and Jets are pretty solid. So
the defense is. I mean, if I have somebody other than Tua Tagovailoa tomorrow in season long, I'm playing that person over Tua because I am not playing Tua against the Jets.
Well, we just watched what they did to your team, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's a high power offense too, and they just shut them down.
And
that's why I'm not fucking with this game.
And they just gave CJ Stroud a concussion, and Tua, you got a target on your head, my man. So, I'm not playing Tua tomorrow if I have someone that's any to where relevant to that can put up points like him. If they're not digging at the bottom of the barrel and looking for Tommy DeVito like I essentially was this week. So yeah.
Well, you got to run out your chalk. I mean,
You have
if
to.
you got your Hills.
No Tyreek Hill.
There's
You got no
nothing you can
Tyreek Hill.
do.
This is the Jalen Waddle show, which is probably turns into the Raheem Mostert show, especially with
if no Hill tomorrow, watch out for your Braxton Berrios as well.
He runs the same routes. Agent Zero is what they call him.
So watch out for him tomorrow. Watch that injury report.
And I'll have that posted in the morning, or before game time in both the page and the group chat.
As the season long though, I need Hill to play tomorrow, of course. So if you draft somebody number 1, so I definitely need him to play tomorrow to try to get into this playoffs.
Well, Dolphins are favored by 8.5 in this, which I think is kind of high.
That is high. I'll take Jets to cover.
I don't think anybody can lock down Tyreek Hill, so I don't think that's it. But so I think you're good with Tyreek Hill, but
a hobbled Tyreek Hill is
still he ain't getting locked down by nobody, man. You saw him limping off the field like he wasn't even gonna come back. Comes back and still shits on people. Like,
I mean, he got his wife called him and said, "You got to play." That's what I heard.
She probably sat on that joint later tonight.
She said, So she called him and she said, "No, you got to go back in and play. You're on national television. Get your ass back in there. I can't be having this shit."
That's how it is, man.
So it's like
somebody spent all their money to go and watch you play, man. That's like Kobe used to say. Somebody spent all their money to come watch me play. No matter how hurt I am, I gotta play for them. That's what it is, man.
But going the opposite direction. This is one of those division matchups where we always say they play low, and watch the Dolphins defense tomorrow. Even if they are beat up, watch them eat Zach Wilson's fucking lunch tomorrow. Take his sack lunch back to Miami and just say, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers, take the rest of the season off, my guy. You need the rest." So
yeah, I kind of like the under in this game more than anything. But go to the next one. It's all shit. Giants at the Saints, another shit game.
Tommy Cutlets, baby.
Yeah, Saints are favored in this one too. So
I don't know, man. It was crazy.
We gotta win, man. We gotta win outright. We gotta start shitting on people if we want to go to the playoffs. So,
and what's funny is y'all are the same.
Olave, I don't think is playing though, or something like that.
Here, hang on. He was questionable. Questionable. So, on the Giants could get Darren Waller back, possible. Out.
Yeah, I think he's just questionable.
Yeah, Jamal Williams is questionable. Olave's questionable, and y'all's offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk, who's crucial to your offense working and protecting. I get mad at the rest of my offensive line, Derek Carr.
Well, maybe Derek Carr gets injured. We play Taysom Hill, but we won't. We'll play fucking Winston, and we'll throw 45 interceptions in the last 5 games of the season, and it's what it is.
I don't like your chances against this defense, but this game is going to be nothing but defense, I think. Wink Martindale's going to be sending the blitz after y'all's ass all day. And again, he's already seen the cracks in the armor. Your freaking offensive line doesn't want to block for Derek Carr.
No, that's why Taysom Hill would benefit in this game, man, because he would just roll out of the fucking blitz and be gone. He would run all over this. And if they play him a lot in these wild card plays, we could shit all over them.
Let's just fantasy book this one here, since this game sucks. But let's just say Taysom Hill had Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator for Indianapolis, as his play caller. How fucking much would the brotherly shove work? I think they would be as good or pretty much on the par of the Eagles.
Yes, we do.
Yes, Joker. Yes, we do, bro. So, yeah, I wish Taysom Hill
God,
had a good offense.
I've been screaming for him to be our quarterback this whole time, dude.
I mean, he needs a
Devin A-Chain's probably going to be out, my dude, so that might help with your problem there.
out of that full PPR pick one, H-N. Pay attention to the H-N. I don't like Chuba Hubbard at all. Out of the running backs there,
I would take Jerome Ford.
Probably
Yeah.
the best.
Jerome Ford. I like Jerome Ford, given that matchup he has. Calvin really such a hit or miss. I mean, it really kind of depends on where you're at in your situation. I know there's a couple games going on, so there might already been some points scored in your matchup. If you kind of need sort of a wild card, it's probably Calvin Ridley here. But I hate recommending him because he goes away for
Who's your
so many
QB?
games.
Who's your QB? But I don't like Chuba. H-N, and I feel like you're going negative against yourself there, even if that you have Mostert. With this ball game here that you're getting, we just talked about the Jets and Miami Fields.
You're in a rough spot this week, my dude.
Yeah.
Those games are awful. Justin Fields.
Low
Fields
scoring.
against the Browns is a tough matchup. But I know you got to run them out.
16-team league.
God damn. God damn.
Some motherfuckers running thin over there.
Yeah. Brad and I are in a 12-man league, and I'm dying for a QB this week. So
yeah, man, it's stuff out there.
I like Ford, especially kind of like a reverse off of Justin Fields here, because you're looking at Justin Fields' score. You're looking for a score from Jerome Ford. I don't like Chuba Hubbard at all. And Brad, you have Chuba Hubbard. Are you playing him tomorrow? I have to, right?
Play him due to just lack of running backs. But I will say, from a fantasy perspective, he is basically put himself in the number one running back position. He's seen double-digit fantasy games. I think probably 3 of the last 4 weeks, including
he's projected for like 10 or 12 points.
I'm not gonna say he's got to get production for the simple fact that they don't have a lot of options. And with Bryce Young, you can always get that dump down pass. So there's definitely the fact that of all of those players outside of Jerome, he's probably going to get the second most amount of touches tomorrow. Again, that Calvin Ridley play might be a gamble, but it may be worth it. Just again, because I think that the Jaguars are going to have to throw it a lot tomorrow to beat the Ravens.
I just feel like you're getting negative with Devon Achane as a as especially with the injury. So I like Jerome Ford because I feel like the Browns are going to get up and they're going to have to give him the ball. And even if they're not, if they get behind, he's the one that's going to catch the ball from the Joe Flacco dump offs. So I'm taking Ford out of that group.
We talk DFS and season long. Every game we go in order of all the games. We talk about the DFS standouts and the season long standouts. We're already at the New York Giants at the Saints, and I said I'm not playing a single person in this game in DFS. Maybe if you want to punt.
Do you not like Kamara tomorrow, Phil? I mean,
I don't like Kamara.
Double-digit fantasy.
I'll tell you why I don't like Kamara, because I like Taysom Hill in this game, in this matchup. And I think the Saints might see it the same way, where they, like Cody was saying earlier, in order to get around this blitz, you're going to have to do some wild card plays with probably Taysom, because he's the only one that can break out that pocket and be gone.
Yep.
And if they're doing that, even if they're not doing it a lot, they're going to do it, and he's liable to take touchdowns away from Kamara when he does that. And running, history away from Kamara, and Kamara is just always, his value's not there. Like, he might get 20 points, like season long, he's a kill. He's going to get you 20 points. But when he's priced at 8,000 on DK, 20 points ain't enough. You need fucking 32 plus, and Kamara's just not doing that.
Give us a follow and a like, fellas. Appreciate it. Yeah, Jeff. And if you have specific questions about specific games, we may be glossing over them because we don't like them. For the simple fact of the matter, if they have a low over under, we just kind of like gloss through them. And I'm like giving it a little bit of injuries, and then if there's something that's pertinent to like season long, So
Thank you, Joe.
I can touch on that. So like DFS, we want to target higher over under games, not low, total games. There's a lot of low total games for Sunday. Now you said you took a single entry on FanDuel. So FanDuel's half PPR. It's not full PPR like DraftKings. So some of these low scoring games that we gloss over and we don't touch much on could still be beneficial to you because you just need touchdowns. Yep. We don't, we primary or DraftKings, so low scoring games
single entries this season
aren't it for us because we want a lot of volume and a lot of scoring. And if they're highly defense, there's not a lot of volume. There's not a lot of passes going around. There's not a lot of scoring going around. So we try to big over-unders, smash spot games with favorable matchups where defense sucks against a good, passing team, all of that.
Yeah. And then like I was about to say, I've been playing a lot of this season, dabbling more into FanDuel than what we've done in the past, just because I play a lot of FanDuel face-off the games, and you get the free money from the FanDuel face-off games. You play a game of solitaire or baseball or whatever, and you get you're enough to cover you a lineup or 2 or 5 lineups over in FanDuel world, and you play some single entries over there, and where we kind of say, hey, these lower scoring games, there's a lot of chalk players in them. The chalk players work a little bit better in the FanDuel lineups because, again, you're looking for the half PPR. You're looking for the touchdowns. You're looking for the quarterbacks that have the possibility to run the ball into the end zone, or these running backs that are, even though they may be bottom tier running backs, they're going to score, right? This is the fucking NFL. So that's what
appreciate y'all both. Both of y'all just came in here. So, appreciate
you. We're here every Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday for the Thursday night game, and then every Saturday for the main Sunday slate, and then especially
9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern time and 8 o'clock Central. So, if you got questions, please, and you got boys and you got friends and everybody, tell them all about us. That's what we're here for. What's up, Chandler, old boy? What's up?
Taylor been coming. Taylor been
bringing it back just in time. Yeah.
So, we just dive through each game. If you got player-specific questions, we try to answer them. But if we haven't gotten to that game yet, we'll usually save those questions for when we get to that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, DFS is where it's at, man. Where else can you have a higher chance than any lottery to win $1 million every Sunday? Every Sunday, you win $1 million, and it's all your choice. And you have some control over it. You have some say in it. It's not just a random number you pick and it gets, drawn into a scratch off or something. This is actual skill based. You can, we just went over the Millie winning lineup last week on Wednesday, and it was literally we nailed every single one of those players. We just didn't have them.
We had collectively just built this lineup in our brain pretty much, and we're like, why didn't we just put this together in one damn Millie lineup together? Because it's it was so chalk. So, but with that being said, I guess what is 5.5 to the Saints?
We also do a little bit of, we'll say what team we're favoring for the spread and things for sports betting, but none of us are sports betting gurus.
It's more or less just kind of who we like, and then if you like doing one of those pick'ems on FanDuel or with your boys on ESPN or Yahoo, whatever, it's kind of
company pick'ems.
Yeah.
I'm a Saints fan, so I'm going with the Saints here on this one. So plus I think the line is, I have it at -5 with my book. So
it's 5. It looks like 5.5 on ESPN.
I see the Saints beating this.
I don't know. I'm gonna go up opposite here. I'm gonna go Giants here and
5.5.
The DeVito crew. They got a little magic.
Man,
on
I would not start Rams D.
I'm gonna keep rocking that magic over the Giants.
You're only doing that because I always tell you the Jags are gonna lose.
No, what though? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go I'm gonna play this thin red line shit because Phil's going straight cover. I think the Saints win, but I think Tommy Cutlets out here with his badass mafia ass agent comes back and says, hey, bruh, I need you to take this shit down here so you can get paid. I need you to look good. I need you to keep this shit up. I think that this happens, and I think that the Giants keep it close. and I think that it takes a Taysom Hill or y'all's kicker that can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn, Phil. So I think that the Giants cover this 5.5 points. So I think the Saints win, but I think the Giants cover. I think it just takes
Fair enough.
your kicker's who wins it for you when y'all been shitting on him all season. So
Fair enough.
Tommy Cutlets, I'm looking at you, bro.
And for you, Chandler, I haven't gotten to that game yet, but I
way
think
to
that
get out of
Rams
that
game is
Chargers
a good
loss.
DFS game to target, meaning I think the Redskins have some high scoring potential. I think Vegas thinks the same thing. It is the highest over under on the slate. I would not take the Rams D this week.
Agreed.
Jeff's got a good take. Like he's saying that Barkley. I mean, that's really like all that you got. I mean, he's like 9% owned, so but that's really all they got.
I'm still stuck in the world where Saints have a good run defense, even though we've let people tear us up this year. But ain't nothing really changed for us to be doing bad. I think it's just
I think it's volume with Barkley. I think volume's going to be there because DeVito.
He's FanDuel. He's FanDuel.
He's going to be there for sure.
Volume's not going to help him.
No, I'm just saying volume of touches. He's going to get touches. He's going to get yards because DeVito gets him the ball. So that's a good take for FanDuel. Yes, I like that a lot because that's what we just said. Low scoring, chalk type ass players that's going to get in the end zone. And I think that Saquon pass wise or running the ball wise has that tendency to get in the end zone, especially with Tommy DeVito dumping off to him and handing him the ball. Yes, I agree. I like that as a FanDuel take, 100%.
And that's actually a good ass question, Jacob. No idea. I think I would go with Chiefs. Dolphin. That's tough. I think I would just go with the Chiefs because Pats are just. Pats can't do shit this year on offense, man. You got to go with that all day long. I don't know if that's season long or a DFS question,
but I just think that just like Phil was saying, there's less weapons that the Pats have in comparison. Where you have Jets do have some solid offensive weapons with Breece Hall and then also Wilson, so who do have a little bit more potential to get past. And that Dolphins defense is down a couple pretty good players, including Jalen Phillips. So. I think the Chiefs are also probably a little bit hungrier given the last couple of weeks. So I think they come out on fire actually tomorrow against the Pats. So I would rock the Chiefs defense.
I like the Chiefs too. I have the Jets. I benched them for Atlanta's defense, though. That tells you something. Even against last week, I should have played him against my Texans and I didn't. But I think because where we always talk about division game, I just don't. I don't know. I would prefer to take the Chiefs, knowing that the Patriots are dog shit over the fact of the Jets. The game could go like this.
Where's Nick Marikas at? He's a Pats fan.
Yeah,
Fizzy coming in here freaking out.
Yeah. So,
well, yeah, the Pats are just not it this year, man. It's not there. They're like on their fourth quarterback. I don't know. They don't know what to do. You got to go with Kansas. And Kansas City's defense isn't bad this year, so. I think that's a good take that you have both of those.
Yeah.
I think we can move to the next game, which is Houston at Tennessee. Another terrible over-under for fantasy purposes. And they're not playing your quarterback this week. I believe I read.
CJ has a concussion. He is not going to play. We're trotting out my man, Case Keenum tomorrow, baby. I've been sitting on the freaking gnashing my teeth because they were saying Davis Mills was going to start, and I'm like, absolutely not. You cannot go. You cannot. He cannot touch the field. He can't. And
I could have swore I saw it was Davis Mills.
It was going to be. It was going to be, and then the city as a whole was basically fuck no, do not do that. And Case Keenum. Like CJ has given all the credit of his quarterback development this season to Case Keenum. So Case Keenum has theoretically been like that Bill Russell type role, a player coach this season. So the whole city's like, we won't come to the game. We're gonna boycott this. We're gonna boycott this game if Davis Mills starts. So today, D'Amico said, "All right, get out of here, kid. Oh, we're gonna start the vet. We're gonna start Case Keenum." So Case Keenum's going to start tomorrow. I'm pretty sure.
And that's another reason why I want nobody in this game for DFS purposes. I mean, if you're season long and you got like Derrick Henry, you're obviously running him out. You know, you got to play those type of people. But
Noah Brown,
DFS, you don't have to do that.
Nico's probably not going to play. Noah Brown is questionable. The only person that I'm not trusting Devin Singletary tomorrow. I'm not trusting Dame tomorrow.
Maybe Dalton Schultz.
Schultz is the only person I am touching with a 10-foot pole tomorrow. Myself, because y'all know, in season long, I've had nothing but Texans pass catchers, and they're dropping like flies. And Dalton Schultz is going to be Case Keenum's dump off. He loves to throw to the tight end. And Bobby Sloak's going to scheme up Case Keenum to fucking Dalton Schultz. And Dalton Schultz is going to be the only person I'm touching for Houston tomorrow. I think for DFS, I'm pretty sure that everyone's thinking that DeAndre Hopkins is going to eat against us in a revenge narrative in the powder blue Houston Oilers uniforms that they're going to be wearing tomorrow, which pisses me off. But I don't know, man. They're going to be without no Jeffrey Simmons, which
they got Tennessee favored in this game. That's how they feel about your Case Keenum. So.
Yeah, I like Derrick Henry, and just of course
in Tennessee,
but he's been, I think, 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So I just could see it's that time of the year. No one wants to tackle Derrick Henry this late in the year. They're way too hurt, way too injured, tired of hitting people, and you don't want to hit a 6'3", 250-pound grown man coming at you. So I see him continue to kind of do that work. While Case Keenum is a solid player, he hasn't really been in the offense at all. So I suspect that Tennessee gets a couple more possessions than they might normally have.
This game's gonna be slow. It's gonna be slow in our end, and I feel
low and shitty.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like we struggle to score points tomorrow, and we shut ourselves out the playoffs tomorrow. Just with this concussion to CJ, that shit hurts, and it came at the wrong damn time of the season. So
man, that's unfortunate because
it's like our playoffs hopes died with the fibia of Tank Dell, which I feel like that kind of
it's injuries, man. Nico's injured, the quarterback's injured. I mean,
Noah Brown can't decide if he's healthy or not. I mean, this is going to be.
Y'all need a running back too, man. Y'all really need a running back in this draft. Yeah, y'all need to do something at running back. Devin Singletary is not it.
And Dame is disappeared. And I feel like the offense doesn't pass him by. So in this offense, you need a Christian McCaffrey type running back, and Devin Singletary and Dame Pierce are not that.
Try to get A-Chain from Miami.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
But DFS, that's why I'm not touching this game. But
3 points to Tennessee. I mean, I'm gonna be a homer, and they're gonna say that we're gonna win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee wins.
Home team with Henry.
I like Tennessee, man. Will's starting to kind of play a little bit better. They're starting to figure it out. D-Hop's playing a little bit better, so I think they put it together tomorrow. They're getting stronger as the end of the year comes along. I mean, that Mike Vrabel teams, man, they're tough. They're always tough.
And they're not eliminated from the playoffs, so.
And they're not out of it. So might as well keep playing.
All right. Kansas City at New England.
Which seems to be a hot topic on defenses here for Chandler and Jacob both. I think you gotta both you guys, y'all gotta start the Chiefs defense tomorrow.
Definitely not the Rams, man. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Henry heavy chalk tomorrow. I'll tell you right now. No, he's not. He's 10% owned as of right now. He is 10th highest owned running back.
I like him tomorrow.
Kyron Williams is going to be heavy chalk tomorrow. I can tell you that now. So we haven't got to that game yet, but that's going to be your chalk.
And then in FanDuel, what I'm looking at right now, Jeff Henry's sub 10% in FanDuel ownership.
I like him and Barkley tomorrow.
Yeah. I think the reason why Henry's not massive chalk is because the over-under in the game. So the over-under is it's not projected to be a high-scoring game. You want them high-scoring games. Like, that's why Kyron's going to be heavy owned, man. It's the highest over-under on the slate. It's against the Redskins or the Commanders, however you want to call them. And then you got people like CMC against Arizona's trash ass run defense this week, and another high over under. Like nobody's looking at Derrick Henry really.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying I wouldn't play him. You could definitely get some exposure to him, but in single entry, I don't think you want to go to Derrick Henry.
I think you get exposure to him in mass entry though, just because this game's going to tend to where they should feed him because we can't throw the ball. If we can't throw the ball, it just should be Derrick Henry running the ball all afternoon is what it should be.
And he's also not contrarian enough to like say this is a pump play. Like Brad liked Kamara. That would probably be a contrarian play tomorrow. My man is 6% owned. Looking at the slate tomorrow, you can't. I mean, he's just expensive, man. He's 8,600. Like I said, he needs you a 34-point game. Yeah, the pricing is always going to be an issue. The ownership's going to be an issue.
For sure.
But sometimes, we've said it on here before, sometimes, and it shows it in Millie Maker winning lineups, you have to eat the chalk. You can't just say, he's chalk, I'm not going to do it. In some spots, you're going to have to eat the chalk. Maybe Kyron's that spot tomorrow. I don't know. Sometimes you got to eat the chalk and get different somewhere else.
Yeah, we've seen that. We talked about the chalk, eating chalk on Wednesday.
Going
Rashad
back. White's been in the Millie making lineup.
That's what I was about to say.
4 times, and he's chalk. He's been chalk every time. Every time he's been chalk. He's been in cash lineups.
He's chalk tomorrow. He's chalk tomorrow. Rashad White is.
Yeah, he's right there. It's like same ownership as Derrick Henry. So
yeah, so there you go. And they're $100 difference. And I think Rashad White's probably his matchup against Green Bay is a running back that catches the ball out the backfield. Also, is probably better anyway. So
I can tell you some chalk you can fade. Ezekiel Elliott, highest owned running back going into the slate tomorrow. I think you can fade that. If you're playing cash, obviously you might want to play him. He's going to get the bulk workload like he just did last week. But we always say in here specifically, and you'll learn this watching us, primetime games play different than other games. I would not expect that performance from Ezekiel Elliott again, and I wouldn't expect it against Kansas City. So he's coming in 33% owned. It's fucking crazy.
Middle of the road, run defense. When Chris Jones is Chris Jones, nobody's running on them, and they got so we can talk about it right now since this is kind of
and it's a low over under, dude. It's 37
that we're talking about. So questionable on the side of the ball. The Patriots, you have Vontae Parker questionable, Juju questionable, Thornton questionable, Trenton Brown questionable. So that's their offense, and the Chiefs.
No team they don't want to play, bro, when they suck.
Chiefs only have 2 people out tomorrow, and that's Pacheco again and offensive lineman Donovan Smith. So, here's your chance. Here's your chance to see. I think that, and the Kansas City is playing because they can still get back into the number 1 seed, and the NFL loves Kansas City, and they love to see Kansas City kick the shit out of the Patriots. So,
but Patriots are also known for shutting down the number 1 on every team. I think the number 1 here is Kelsey. I think that's another reason this game is projected to be low owned because they don't think the Patriots are going to move the ball. I also don't know if Kansas City is going to move the ball because if they lock down Kelsey, who they got,
Rashee Rice is it.
Yeah, and
he's
it's tough, dude. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, maybe you might want to play Clyde Edwards tomorrow. He had 61% rushes last week, and he had 10% target share. That in DraftKings, that's nice. If he's not getting you a touchdown tomorrow on FanDuel, he's not going to be nice.
Yeah.
And his ownership is, let's see. There you go. His ownership is 8%. It's up 10% owned. So that's a good contrarian play, maybe. But, the matchup,
I like McKinnon here coming back with Pacheco out, or if you have Pacheco out in your season long. If you were able to grab up a running back, I like McKinnon again this week, just sort of like last week. He seemed to be sort of more of a Mahomes' more trusted pass catching back. which will lend better in the PPR leagues. Getting that catch out of the backfield tomorrow. So again, if you were a Pacheco owner out there looking for a running back, try to pick up the Kansas City running backs that potentially may still be out there, and get you ready for your fantasy matchup this week. So I like that. Also on the other side, I like Hunter Henry. Again, you have to throw it
I
to
like that.
somebody. From a daily fantasy perspective, I'm not sure what his pricing would be, but I doubt he may not be
3,200.
as high.
That's he
It's
ain't expensive at all,
I just see
and
a
he ain't
lot
owned
of
either.
targets going his way. It's kind of easy to scheme up a tight end. Quarterbacks love the tight ends, and they gotta again throw it to somebody. He's the most sort of veteran
But
player
they
on the
suck.
left. I know, I
That's
know.
the hard part. I
But
actually agree with your Hunter Henry play, but
but if
they
you need
suck.
if you want to kind of go a little bit stronger on your stacks somewhere else, and you just need a tight end that may get a lot of production and target share, boom, that's your
DraftKings,
guy.
yeah, DraftKings for
Yeah,
sure. I'm gonna disagree with the McKinnon play simply because I usually love McKinnon, but in
yeah,
this game I don't see them having to pass a lot. It's just
gotcha.
it's New England. I don't think if New England's scoring, yeah, McKinnon all day. But even
Yeah,
last week, McKinnon had lower target share than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is crazy. And
yeah,
then, a whole third less or two-thirds less running share than Clyde Edwards. And usually I like McKinnon over Clyde Edwards, but it didn't look like they did. But you never know with these weeks they change because last week I was on McKinnon and not Edwards, and then they gave it to CEH, and now this week I'm gonna be on CEH, and they're gonna fucking give it to McKinnon. So
They
that's the
get
way it goes.
the Patriots get Pop Douglas back tomorrow, and I feel like he's 10% owned already. Um, he's going to be who they have to throw the ball to if it's not Hunter Henry.
With
So
Bailey Zappi starting.
yeah, it's the Bailey Zappi show.
Yeah, but he doesn't zap nothing. So
He did last week. He did last week, and I was like, what the hell? But I don't against Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is, I would say,
I'll be
they're in the
good.
top 10 in the league right now, and I think that we have seen what's her name? Who's their defensive coordinator? Brad, who's Kansas City defensive coordinator? Spags,
Yeah,
right? Steve Spagnuolo. We've seen Steve Spagnuolo's defense in his time beat the shit out of the Patriots. See both times that the Giants won the Super Bowl. So there we go. That's enough said. Like that defense don't work. That's one defense that New England just can't overcome. So I
Kansas
think
City favored by 8.5 too. So
yes,
I
absolutely.
don't
I
think
like
they got
Kansas City
Patriots
tomorrow for
doing
the 8.
anything. So yeah,
I
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna
think Pat Mahomes comes out pretty pretty
sharp.
inspired tomorrow after losing what was that, 50 grand, 100 grand? So
Yeah, so I'll go with the Chiefs with that too.
Yeah.
And then on to the last three games, which
Which
are
is
where I'll be
that's
focusing my DFS love.
sub competitive, which is crazy. Like this next game, 48 total.
San Francisco at Arizona.
30 points for San Francisco, which is the highest team total.
Highest team total on the slate, man. This is supposed to be a CMC show. I mean, last week was supposed to be a CMC show, and we didn't get it. So it's got to be there this week.
They're again without Elijah Mitchell. So you did speak Jordan Mason into existence.
I did.
Week
You
for the
texted that in the
touchdown.
group chat. Jordan Mason came out vulturing. Was it the first touchdown
Yes.
from CMC?
Yeah,
And I called that
literally.
in the stream, dude.
Yeah.
That was wild.
You
Spoken
literally
into
said that.
existence. So this week I'm not saying that. So how about CMC come out and give us a lot? But he's high owned. Yeah, he's the third highest running back on the slate. So, and he's expensive.
Again,
9,300. He's gonna have to get you 37 fantasy points to
but we've seen it.
hit the milli maker, and we've seen it. He can do it, and Arizona is god awful against the run. So
they're worst or second worst in the league.
yeah, second worst in the league with fantasy points scored against them to the running backs. I don't know if San Francisco is like, oh, I like Mason, I like what he did. Let's get him back out there, or not. That's what's scary about the McCaffrey show. But McCaffrey should eat here. Samuel should eat here. Purdy
I
should eat here.
I absolutely love Debo Samuel tomorrow. Like, I
But
think the Brandon Ayuk ownership is too high versus what Debo Samuel is capable of. Debo Samuel is becoming the Debo Samuel that we
it used to
saw a
be.
couple years ago before people figured him out, right?
Neither
So,
one of them are really high owned. Neither. I mean, Ayuk's higher owned, which is crazy, but neither one of them are like high owned. And I
because
think
they
it's
see it
because they think it's going to run. But
get out in front, yeah. Yeah, they think they're gonna get out in front. But I think that you have the option with Debo Samuel because you can line him up in the backfield. Like he took a handoff into the end zone last week. And Debo Samuel, I heard a statistic. If you're one of those people, if you have Debo Samuel in your season long fantasy right now, you're probably in the playoffs just because of what he's done for you over the last number of weeks. He is single handedly starting to propel teams in the upward trajectory. Excuse me.
he had a 33% target share last week too. So
And
if,
it's
if Kyler can keep this game competitive, which I'm not saying he can't, but if he can, is even better, then Samuel and Ayuk and Kittle have even more to give in a game like this.
I just think that this 49ers team is for real. This elite team when they have all their weapons and everybody's not, on the injury report. So again, I like this matchup. Um, in as far as for your chalk players, don't be afraid of running out your Kittle as well. And don't be afraid of running out some of those players on the Arizona side from a daily fantasy perspective. Because again, they may end up being behind, so there could be some fantasy value for a guy just racking up a good solid amount of catches and targets, getting a bunch of yards off of that. So again, if you want to kind of get different, it may even be sort of in your advantage point to
I mean
look
Trey
at some of those
McBride is
Arizona style
Trey
players.
Trey McBride had 40% target share last
he's
week.
the fourth highest on tight end.
Like that might be some chalk you got to eat in this game, man. Because if
Might,
they're
I mean,
behind,
you got to
he's
throw
going
it to
he
somebody.
going to throw it, and he's obviously throwing it to him. It's clear.
I mean, he did that. I told y'all, he has become that Zach Ertz that he used to find, that Kyler used to find
Yeah,
every
Yep,
damn time
yep,
because he is a tight
yeah, he
end that has the ability to get off of a linebacker and bully the shit out of a inside
safety.
corner and a safety, right? So he's big enough and he's fast enough to do that kind of stuff and work for Kyler Murray. So when Kyler Murray's having to get out of the pocket, I'm there, right? And he's taking it up the field after that. So I think that Trey McBride is probably he might be chalk you have to eat tomorrow, especially in with
yeah.
questionable Marquise Brown, questionable Michael Wilson. I mean, and they that's pretty
To
much
be
it.
honest, I think you got to go to Marquise Brown after him, and then maybe Dortch after that. This is an afternoon game. I've said it in here before. For those that don't know, afternoon games tend to always play different. Where you'll see like the backups scoring that you usually wouldn't see score. So they don't usually tend to play out the way you think. San Francisco's favored by 12 in this, which makes you think, they're just going to shit all over them. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Mason, takes a touchdown in this game and somebody like Dortch or Rondell Moore comes out and snags a touchdown in here and tears the afternoon slate a whole new can of whoop ass. But for the purposes of stating that is my purpose is that you should get exposure to lots of players in this game. This is one of those games you want to target for DFS purposes. 48 over under and lots of potential for different people to score. Is James Conner back in this healthy?
Yes, he's full-fledged number one tomorrow for them.
He
So
could get, tossed out this game because San Francisco gets up by too much. But if he doesn't, he could have a good game here as well. Murray likes to dump off to him as well.
Yeah, and I mean his ownership's down. I just think that the fact of the matter is people are going to look at this like from a getting the ball in the end zone with a running back perspective. I don't think that's what's going to happen. This is going to be if James Conner gets the ball in the end zone, it's going to have to be on a pass because I just don't think that you're running against the 49ers. We obviously saw that two really good teams aren't doing that shit. So
yeah, they're not. But that's also why this is a 4:00 game and some weird shit always happens.
And it's a prime. I mean, it's essentially a division matchup, and this could be, hey, fuck you from the Cardinals trying to ruin the 49ers.
And we've seen the 49ers get beat by a bad team this year. Let's just twice. Just say that by a bad team twice. So it's in the cards for that to happen. Sneaky play, exactly. Connor's one you want to watch. A lot of people you want to watch from the Arizona side because they're not going to be highly owned players.
And no one's going to be like that Greg Dortch love. Like, get that Greg Dortch love. Like, he's
4,100, dude.
Rondell Moore is not terrible too because he's a good gimmick guy. I feel like the Arizona defense is awful high. They're owned higher than the fucking 49ers defense, which is asinine. But maybe they're 22.
Greg Dortch is sub 1% owned. Let's just think about that. Less than 1% ownership. He comes out, gets
Jeff. Yeah, you're right.
Catches and a touchdown. That'd be a punt play that breaks the slate.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Spread is 12. I got to go with 49ers on this.
I'm not down the 49ers at all on this one just because of what they've done. The teams two back-to-back weeks. I think this 49ers team is hitting their stride good, and I feel like this game is over 48 though. I feel like that. I think
that's the better bet.
I think it goes over 48 if Kyler stays upright. I think this game goes over 48.
That's a better bet.
Some next game touchdowns to make it over the 48.
What'd you say?
Some sneaky late touchdowns.
Yeah, late like the garbage time TDs.
Yeah, that's gonna pull it over that.
And y'all cannot count out Matt. I know we don't talk kickers, but this is for season long people, and for if you're playing. We don't do it, but if you're playing a showdown on this game, you can't count out Matt Prater because Matt Prater got a fucking leg. He got a cannon for a leg. So
next game, Commanders at the Rams. Highest over-under on the slate. Love this game for single entry purposes. And
also FanDuel, GPP, OS. Baker, Evans, Patriots D for Stafford, Olave, Jets. Ooh.
Wait a second.
So he's asking,
why would you
just
Baker?
3?
Why are you playing Baker? First off, if you get a choice on FanDuel.
Stafford, Olave, Jets, deep. Olave's potentially he could play tomorrow, but he's hobbled. So
Olave's probably not going to play tomorrow. I would tell you that. I wouldn't even play him. He's most likely not going to play.
Stafford is a good play. I like the Stafford play.
QB. Stafford's the highest owned quarterback.
He's chalk. I'm saying that's chalk.
Versus Commanders tomorrow.
But in FanDuel,
you could do Baker and Evans stack, but I wouldn't. We talked about that game earlier. I mean, it's not out of the question for DFS purposes, but Kupp should definitely have a big game tomorrow. But what scares me about Kupp is like the fact that Puka Nacua is always there to ruin that, or him have the exciting game. But as far as OS goes, I think you should erase all of that and think of a different. These last 3 games we're about to talk about, San Francisco at Arizona, you should probably focus a team stack from there. Washington at the Rams, you might focus team stacks from there. And Dallas at Buffalo, focus team stacks from there. If you want to throw Evans in as one of your wide receivers, I'm not against that. We talked about that earlier.
Because he has probability of getting in the end zone tomorrow.
Yeah, he has probability getting end zone, but I'll tell you right now, what's not going to happen is Baker's not going to break the slate tomorrow and outscore these last 3 games.
I mean,
one of these
Brock
quarterbacks from these last games are going to break the slate.
Brock Purdy's only in FanDuel. Brock Purdy's the only 4th highest owned quarterback. I mean, he's probably like he's the 3rd highest, most expensive. But I think Brock Purdy's going to have you a better chance of if you stacked him with a Deebo Samuel or even if you got him and you put him stacked him with a George Kittle in there, and then had a bring back maybe from Arizona. I'm not even like your James Conner if you're having to do a bring back, but I don't like.
I like Sam Howell tomorrow, dog.
Yes.
Sam Howell over all of that. Oh, he's going against Sam Howell airs the fucking ball out. Let's not forget that my man was airing the ball out.
He has more fantasy points this season than Patrick Mahomes does.
Yeah, so let's not forget about Sam Howell in a game with the highest over-under on the slate, in a game where, like Jeff is saying, Cooper Kupp is fully healthy this game and could be eating and probably will eat. Him or Puka Nacua will eat. And that means Sam Howell's going to be airing this fucking ball out.
He's going to have to. So no B-Rob.
McLaurin, Curtis Samuel is with the people I would target with him.
Yeah, no B-Rob tomorrow.
Yeah, Gibson. Gibson's going to have all the backfield to himself.
Yeah, you picked him up, right, Brad? You're starting Tony tomorrow, right?
Running out
Antonio Gibson. Yeah, he's going to have all of it.
I need it. I seen that play and seeing the fact that with no B-Rob in the game that they're probably going to be down, Antonio Gibson has really good pass catching ability, and that's what I always.
He was a wide receiver.
So if he can get going, sort of have some of those games he had a year, maybe 2 years ago, he was really stacking some games together.
You have him in is he one of your stardoms?
I'm starting him in both my 10-man and my 12-man league.
Is he in the Keele Athletics stardom of the week? Who else was? We only did one. We only done one.
I only had Zay on the list. That's the only one I felt really good about. Outside of more chalkier players.
Don't worry, I'll make Gibson my play of the week. Don't worry, I'll make him my play of the week. He'll go up there.
There we go. There we go.
There is the Pistorio Law Firm Lock of the Week. Tony G, you're on it, bro. Tony G.
Let's from go. Washington D.C. area. I know what he can do. I've seen him play live.
There we go.
I know what he can do. Brad called it. He can catch the ball at the backfield. I know he can. I've seen it done.
I'm gonna throw this up there too. He's got to be because Brad's starting him in both leagues. So he's Keele Athletics Starter of the Week and the Pistorio Law Firm Lock of the Week.
Let's go. So
that means that we feel really good about him.
Yeah,
he's got to. He's got to.
He's a cash lock too. If you're doing double ups, heads ups, you got to have Tony G in every one of those.
Yeah,
Jeff knows. Jeff knows locking him. He's locking him in too. So
even Jeff's lock. It's a full lock across the nation.
He might be some chalk people got to eat. It is what it is.
We'll take that one.
That's a game where he should get some love. McLaurin should get love, and don't forget about my man Curtis Samuel. I've been calling him all year.
Yeah,
and he has came to play every time I called him.
17% owned.
I'm thinking about potentially rolling out Samuel as well. It just depends.
Sub 5% owned tomorrow too. That's your slate breaker right there.
And then I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna call that man's name. That man Logan Thomas is sub 5% owned too.
You are.
He loves the end zone, and the Rams are dog shit against the tight end.
There you go. Is that the Cody NASA lock of the week?
I'll say that's my lock of the week because that dude. That's the lock of the week. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you the Space Act Agreement, a manager lock of the week, right? So I'm watching him from space. Like I'm sitting here. Logan Thomas, get your ass in the end zone. That's what I want. So
Space Station play of the week.
Yeah, right. I mean, he.
Thank you, baby.
So the.
Shh, go.
But yeah, I just think that the Rams aren't worth shit against tight end. So I think that Logan Thomas.
Then on the Rams side, you know they're gonna get busy against the Skins as well, man. Puka Nacua, Cooper Cup. I have no idea which one to pick if you're doing single entry. If you're doing mass entry, get exposure to both. Even a little bit of Tutu Atwell in there because
Tutu
after
is
the-
questionable.
Oh,
He's questionable with a concussion. He might not play.
But I'll tell you this:
Demarcus Robinson is where they're going to go off away from Tutu not being there. Demarcus Robinson, he's chalk as shit tomorrow.
And Puka is more owned than Cooper Cup. Let's put that out there too.
Wow.
Dog, Demarcus Robinson's the highest owned wide receiver on the slate.
Yes, because he's only 3,600, and there is going to be no. And Demarcus Robinson, this is his second tour, I think, with the Rams. He's made his way back around to the Rams again.
So.
That might be some easy chalk to fade. I'm not gonna lie. I can't get behind $3,600 players that often, and when one is like, I'd have been all over him if it was 10%. But my man is 21
because of what he did last week. It's because of what he did last week.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't expect that performance from $3,600 players to be consistent. So for that reason, I think that's chalk you can not eat for GPP, but in cash lineups, you want to just put them in there because it ain't gonna hurt. Everybody's gonna have him.
Yeah, I mean it's because they're looking at the fact of that Cooper Cup is expensive, but Puka Nacua is nipping on his heels, which to me,
he's higher owned.
And I'm used to Cooper Cup being like 9,000, and I think I like that. It's a little bit of 7,800 there for Cooper Cup. You know,
might like that. Might like the cup.
It only
this might be a game stack game, man.
And I can't have that technically because I'm going against him in one of my playoff matchups, but it just sounds like Cooper might be reading the tea leaves tomorrow and like, you know what, just give me the ball, man. They playing me out.
Because Washington's defense against the running backs are not very good. They tend to give up a lot of yards. And here's a thought, and this is gonna be maybe a hot take, just for the simple fact of the matter is this might be a game. I'm going to say this loud enough for the people in the back. This might be a game where you could run a defense and a player from an opposite team. For the simple fact of the matter is Rams will get to fucking Sam Howell, who has been sacked more than any quarterback in the league this season. And again, Sam Howell. So you could run Tony G and you could run a Rams defense, and don't be afraid of that because Sam Howell is reckless sometimes and he gets sacked a lot. That's just it's just one of those games. Might be a game where you can run a player and a defense from the opposite team. So
my thought on this is stacking like Sam Howell with two, stacking him with like Tony G and Logan Thomas, bringing him back with Cooper Cup, and then plugging in the spots. Maybe put in like Deebo Samuel in there. Find a punt play in one of these next games. Dallas is probably gonna have one with Kevontae Turpin. Haven't gotten in there yet, but like somebody like that.
Or Shakir maybe. Or
Shaheed on the Saints.
Berrios.
If Olive's out.
Berrios is a good thought just because like if Hill doesn't play, he runs the routes. He runs exactly the same. I watched him.
Isn't that revenge too? Didn't he play for the Jets?
Yes.
There you go.
And Braxton Berrios, I literally saw when Tyreek Hill was going out, and I watched it after the game, and even watching the Pat McAfee show, they were talking about it, that Braxton Berrios does the exact same stuff as Tyreek Hill. He does the same. They run him in the same motions. They run him in the same routes. Obviously, he's not fucking Cheetah, so he's not as fast as him, but they use him in the exact same way. So he is the guy that's supposed – and obviously, where you're getting two defenders on Tyreek Hill, you're only getting one on Braxton Berrios. But, again – if Tua's used to that being there, he might be somebody that's a good punt off of if Reek doesn't play. But with that being said,
the spread tomorrow on the Rams game is -6.5 for the Rams. I look for them to cover this because they're at home, and the Redskins somehow always just it could be the fourth quarter, they could be up by 10 and lose by 20. So, I look for them to cover this easily. But my research in the DFS and my playing it for all these years, it is a milli maker winning lineup usually is in one of the higher scoring owned games and with a spread around 7. This is 6.5, and it's the highest owned game on the slate. This screams like milli maker potential stack here. It's just a matter of whether or not you get it right because there is a lot of targets in this game to focus on.
Yeah. And for season long people, your streamer of the week is Matthew Stafford at quarterback. That's just who you got to. If you could get him, he was available for you. I went looking for him too, and he was available up until about last week. And then all these people that wanted to get into the playoffs, get their foot in the door, they grabbed 3 quarterbacks and they're keeping them off the board for the rest of us. So, yeah, he's one of those streamer guys that you need to have. You probably running out tomorrow for season long.
Next game,
the Rams take this one. I think the Rams take it too.
The Rams as well.
Let's get it. Next game, them cowgirls at Buffalo. Cowgirls at Buffalo is another crazy game that you should focus for DFS purposes. I like Allen in this a lot. I'm not gonna lie, and I like Stephon Diggs because he didn't get there last week. It's a bounce back game. I can already tell you right now there ain't nobody on him because of that. He's 6.9% owned. That's crazy for Stephon Diggs, especially on DraftKings. We appreciate that, Jeff.
Yes,
bring
Jeff,
them all in, man. Bring them all in. We answer questions live. We got a Facebook group. You can join the Facebook group. We post injuries right before the game start. If anybody got questions, like OS asked earlier about a game stack, it looked like he was posting. If you have an idea of a game stack, post it. We'll let you know if we like it or not. Doesn't mean we know. There's been plenty of times I've called some shit in here, and it went the complete opposite way. But there's also more times than not that we've posted plays in here that have absolutely killed. I think week 2 or week 3, I took down first in a tournament. Like week 5 or 6, Cody took down first in a tournament. So we be in here cracking them. Definitely help spread the word. Back on this Dallas track, I don't think you could go wrong with anybody in this game. For some reason, I don't see any defense being applicable in this game. And I think that this game actually might be the highest scoring game tomorrow. The problem is who's going to do it. Dallas spreads, if it's not Lamb getting it all, they're spreading the ball around, man. It's going to Brandon Cooks. It's going to Michael Gallup. It's going to Kevontae Turpin. It's going to Pollard. They have so many targets. And then the Buffalo side is a little easier, man. It's either Diggs, sometimes Gabe Davis, and I'd say that's it.
Sprinkling Kincaid.
Yeah, you can sprinkle in some Dalton Kincaid in there, but the harder part is going to be getting like Dallas right because there's so many. I mean, Jake Ferguson too that I didn't even mention. So this is why, like, if you're doing DFS, you really need to be focusing like 20 max tournaments, 150 max tournaments, and actually maxing them, because that way you can set exposures to all these players, get in there, get your exposures. That way when fucking Brandon Cook scores, you're not like, damn, I only had Lamb. And, and vice versa. If Lamb scores, you're not like, damn, I only had Brandon Cooks. Got to get your exposure. If you're doing single entry, it's much harder. But, there are ways to look at it, and you got to look at ownership and price per dollar. You got to value some players and just ride the value in the ownership sometimes. I mean, if CeeDee Lamb's going to be the highest owned, let's see. He is. He's the highest owned for Dallas. I mean, he's still not high owned, though, which is crazy. But he's the highest owned for Dallas. So you want to get different, Brandon Cooks. He's only 3.49% owned. But he's questionable. So
so I can get you the injuries. The Brandon Cooks is questionable with an illness. Jalen Tolbert is questionable with an illness. Something's going on. Stephon Gilmore is questionable with an illness, and Malik Hooker is questionable with safety with an ankle. And then Bills will be without Micah Hyde, the safety. So, and then AJ Espinosa, the defensive end. So with that being said, here's looking at you, Cavante Turpin, and the guy that shit on us a couple times this year, and we didn't think and we kind of went away from him, Michael Gallup. So, I mean, I know Jake Ferguson, like you just said, Phil, he's probably here, but a lot of people are going to go to him tomorrow, I imagine, which actually they're not. I expect him to be higher owned than that, 6%. But I believe the Bills ownership
He's not that owned.
Bills defense ownership is crazy. Oh, Jeff, I put the Facebook group page. We have a group and a page, a private group. You can join it if you want. And then we have a Facebook page also. So
be careful with that Tucker Kraft play. He's not sneaky. He's the third highest tight end on the slate and a mediocre scoring game. So people are definitely seeing what you're seeing. If you want sneaky tight end, Hunter Henry 4% owned, Logan Thomas 4% owned in a game we were just talking about where Redskins love throwing to him and Rams love giving up tight end touchdowns. Logan Thomas. I mean, even
Tyler. I'm not even shitting on Tyler Conklin tomorrow.
Tyler Higbee's 3% owned. Like everybody's going Kupp, Puka, and Demarcus Robinson. What about Higbee? He's the slate breaker, man. It's a 4:00 game.
Yeah. And everybody's shitting on nobody likes my Dalton Schultz tomorrow either. So
Taysom Hill 2% owned. I just talked about the only way they're gonna beat the Giants is by getting him the ball, man.
Kincaid's only 3% owned. I mean, that's
I like him tomorrow. I like Diggs. I like Buffalo a little bit more. It just kind of seems like Cowboys have been on this run here. They've been unstoppable. No one can figure them out, and they're running into a defense that's starting to kind of find themselves, and they're getting tougher in the sense of they're playing more physical ball. You're seeing Josh Allen playing physical. He wants to win. I just wonder if the Cowboys here are sort of running into a team that might be a little bit more physical than they've seen yet. I really like Diggs. I really like Josh Allen tomorrow. It just sets up well. If he can scramble, that breaks apart that Cowboys defense.
They're not even high owned.
They're not built for that scrambling quarterback. They're built for the pocket passer.
It is in Buffalo.
Correct. Now it's going to be weak there.
It's in Buffalo. It is going to be 49 degrees and raining straight down with a 10-mile-an-hour breeze tomorrow at game time. What does that mean? Dak Prescott, your ass is getting beat.
I just wonder.
It makes me like I like my Redskins stack better or the Rams stack better in a dome, but I love locking in like Stephon Diggs in all my lineups.
Somebody I'm telling that I think that that everybody's shying away from because teams can't play with the run against Dallas recently. I think that because they're saying they're so good against the run, which really nobody's run against Dallas because Dallas gets out in front of them, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think their run defense is that great. Mozzie Smith is okay, and then the other defensive tackle they got.
Malik Collins.
No, he's on ours. He's on us. He's got a Nigerian name, and I can't think of what his name is. But anyways, I like James Cook tomorrow, especially if they have to run the ball. Somebody else I even like tomorrow, if they have to get to running the ball, that man Lat Murray just seems to be there pestering the shit out of me every week, and I'm like,
every week,
like he was good on the Saints, man.
He's been
every week, man.
He's been there, and he's been there a lot. I mean, Lat Murray's sub 1% owned. If they have to run the ball, he's going to be there. But James Cook, I think even in the pass game, he's going to have to be there to catch the ball. And I think James Cook is somebody that you have to have. I mean, it's season long. If you have him, I think you have to play him tomorrow. Just the simple fact of the matter. Even in either scenario, if they're ahead, he could run the ball. If they're behind, he's becoming a safety valve for Josh Allen when he's on the scramble or when it's just a dink and dunk right off the middle. He's becoming that pass catching and heavy running back that we wanted him to be. So I like James Cook tomorrow, and the ownership, he's sub 9% owned. I mean, and he's only 6,300. So, but I think that Dallas I think Dallas falls short in the rain.
I do too.
I like Buffalo tomorrow.
And
Plus, I
Buffalo,
hope it happens because I
yeah,
just don't like Dallas.
they're in the
I
mix,
just
right?
I just think too. I mean, I just think they've been so just above.
Buffalo's favored. I didn't
You
see
know,
that coming, but Buffalo's favored by 2. So
maybe
I
that's
think
what Vegas
Vegas
seeing the
sees it
same thing.
too.
Yeah,
No.
And it's
and
at
two,
home.
watch out for those team illnesses because that gets into everything, team meetings, team coaches, everything. And so then you come out a little step slower.
I was wrong about that illness for Devontae Adams unless he just wasn't fucking sick at all.
No, he had the flu.
So
So his daughter, I
he had
heard
the
the
flu,
story.
but he drops fucking like
Yes, his
god tier fantasy points on
Yeah,
prime
man. Of
time,
course,
dude.
every time Devontae Adams shows up at
Uh,
playoff time.
as a
Every
Texans
time.
fan, no, Jeff, it does not. If I'm going away from him tomorrow, the only
a
person I'm
low
touching,
game.
I'm the only person I'm touching if I have to touch somebody, even in myself, I'm having to abandon all hope for Texans players tomorrow, not named Dalton Schultz, because that's the only person I think is going to get any love. Singletary, I guess we'll have to have a running back. He's going to be it. Dame is still there. We just can't really decide that. We're just not really doing it that much. But Case Keenum's going to try to be Case Keenum and try to wing it. I think we're not running Davis Mills. If it was Davis Mills, I'd say yes, maybe Singletary's probably a better play. Case Keenum's going to try to be that gunslinger that I know he is, and I think it's going to have to be to the tight end.
It's also a very low projected scoring game. It's in Tennessee, and if Tennessee's in the lead, they're going to pound the ball with Henry, and it's not going to be much scoring to go around. It's going to be a dry game, really. Like it's clock's burning, nothing's happening. Final score's 10-3, and you're like, why the fuck did I play Singletary? Even if he's on the side of 10 and he got you a touchdown, he got you 8 points. Like it ain't enough. That's why we say and we try to get people to focus on these high scoring over under games, especially when there's low ownership in them. Like the Buffalo Dallas game, every player in there is low ownership.
Yeah.
You could get different with James Cook. Then on the Washington and Rams side, we mentioned it already that Cooper Kupp is lower owned than DeMarcus Robinson and Puka Nacua. He's only like 10% owned. Tyler Higbee was 3% owned. In the San Francisco game, CMC was the only one that was high owned. There's tons of low ownership from Arizona. Like these are the players that people don't like grabbing that end up breaking slates because they're in the higher scoring games and they're scoring. Their game's projected to score 50 points and there's 60 points scored. And because people want to play people like Tyreek Hill and his fucking game over under is 37 points. There's not much scoring in there. So if he's $9,000, he has to get you 4 to 5 times his value for it to make sense for DFS. So he's got to get you 36 points plus. If you're thinking around 40, is he going to get you 40 fantasy points in a game against Sauce Gardner and the Jets and the total over under 37? Highly unlikely. Can he do it? Yeah, he's Tyreek Hill, but it is like 90% chance it's not going to happen. So you got to stop focusing these other players and focus the games where there's going to be a lot of scoring.
Just a scoring update. There's a massacre going on in Detroit. Detroit is blowing the doors off of Denver 35-10.
Well,
Sam Laporta has 4 receptions for 46 yards and 2 TDs. And Amon-Ra has 6 receptions for 102 yards with 1 TD. And Detroit's defense has a fumble recovery. David Montgomery only has 74 yards. And Russell Wilson has 157 yards and a TD. Jameer Gibbs, 88 yards and 2 total touchdowns. So there you go.
It was Jameer Gibbs got the one this week, huh?
Yeah.
This is crazy, man. My lineup is so clean.
Jared Goff, 258 for 4 TDs. He is Jared Goff tonight, boys, in the city. And then our man Cortland Sutton is 57 yards on 4 receptions, no TDs yet.
I need Sutton to get 2 TDs here and David Montgomery to get 1. I'll be in there.
It's 35-10, man. There's 12 minutes left.
But I had such a perfect fucking lineup, man. I even had Laporta in that lineup I told y'all about earlier. But I don't have Amon-Ra and I don't have Jahmyr Gibbs. So
I am playing KP, and he has Laporta, and I have Amon-Ra. So I'm slowly bleeding right now. I need that Justin Fields fruition, that him not being worth a crap tomorrow come true. So
I think that pretty much does it for this main slate tomorrow. The spread, I think I said is Buffalo -2. I'm gonna rock with Buffalo at home in that kind of weather.
I'm rocking Buffalo as
well.
well.
I was gonna give y'all a quick stat, like real quick, about this Dallas team. Okay, so we've seen Dallas put up a lot of numbers, but okay, they beat the Giants 40-0 in New York. That's one, okay, but they beat the Jets 30-10 in Dallas. They lost to the Cardinals in Arizona. They beat the Patriots 38-3 in Dallas. They lost to the 49ers in San Francisco 42-10. They beat the Chargers by 3 in LA. They blew the doors off of the Rams 43-10 in Dallas. They lost to the Eagles in Philly. They blew the doors off the Giants in Dallas again. They lost to they beat the Panthers in Carolina, and then they beat the Commanders in Dallas. They beat the Seahawks in Dallas. They beat the Eagles in Dallas. So this game is only their third away game, and it's in Buffalo. I think the Buffalo Bills roll their ass up and throw them out the door tomorrow. I'm just saying that's just.
I played Ty Chandler too, George. That's why my lineup is so good. I played a lot of Ty Chandler today in the day off, but damn, I got killed with Josh. I got killed with Josh Downs, really, which is crazy that he didn't do much after fucking Pittman went out early.
We were just talking about Olave.
I don't think Olave is gonna play tomorrow.
Yeah, Phil's been saying,
if he does play tomorrow, I wouldn't expect big production because he's almost a fucking non-play.
It looks like they made a roster move, and so just anticipation of him.
Who does Seattle play
not
tomorrow?
be in a good spot.
Seattle plays Philly on Monday night. I love the JSN.
I would say JSN then.
I love JSN against Philly because we were talking about him earlier, and that's a question I got from somebody earlier. I like JSN. I know Brad loves JSN. He's been on the JSN train all season long.
Yeah, so just for perspective, I believe from an ESPN fantasy matchup, that Waddle matchup against the Jets that's a number one ranked matchup in comparison to a 32nd ranked defense in the JSN matchup on Philly. So just from an ESPN sort of power ranking standpoint, Waddle has a tougher matchup than JSN. The only thing that you have to contend with is I feel that Waddle definitely is probably going to be in the game plan, given the fact that Hill is either maybe not going to play or is going to be hurt. Whereas with JSN, he's competing against two other really top receivers. So unfortunately, that's the little bit scary part about it. So you have to kind of weigh those risks. But I do still like JSN a little bit more, just a tad bit more tomorrow or Monday night.
Yeah, I like JSN. I just think the fact that, like I said earlier, you're going to get both of the corners, both of the top-tier corners or top-notch corners they've got there in Philly in Diggs and Bradbury are going to be on DK and Lockett. And who does that leave open? It leaves JSN, and that's Geno. Geno's bread and butter right there, just dinking down to the slot man. And JSN has come into a player of his own this season. I think he's top, I would say one of those top 3 rookie wide receivers now that Tank is hurt. I mean, you got Addison, you got Zay, and then you got JSN. I mean, I think that's what you're looking at. So I think that JSN is probably who I'm going, because just the simple fact of the matter is I saw what the Jets defense did to my Texans last week.
They're going to do it to Miami again this week.
I think this is, the only way to neutralize Sauce and DJ Reed is running the ball. So, and check that injury report tomorrow. I added the Facebook page and the group chat tomorrow in the chat above. So if you join those, like the Facebook page, I'll have the actives in at before game time tomorrow, so you can check them in real quick, so you don't got to go digging for them. So, but yeah, 2 points to the Buffalo. I like 2 points easy. I think Buffalo, man. I think Buffalo, because Buffalo is in that 7-6 range. They need a win, and the first team got out of that 7-6 group today. Got actually 2 of them got wins, right? So currently the playoffs the Steelers fell out, Colts went up, Bengals jumped us, and the Bengals, it's Bengals and Colts right now. If we don't win tomorrow, Buffalo is pretty much controlling their own destiny if they beat Dallas, and that's a quality win for them. They need a division win. That's where they're lacking and why they're behind. But if they beat a Dallas team tomorrow and they beat them handily, that gives their quality of wins and the whole structure of the playoffs, tiebreaker wise, more clout for them. And I feel like they're just going to kind of claw their way on and beat up on people the rest of the way. So with that being said, if nobody else got any questions, I mean, if y'all do, go ahead and ask them now so we can address them for you. And we appreciate all the new love. We appreciate Jeff. We appreciate you. We appreciate
all the questions, all the talking, all the comments, the subs, all that is nice.
Chandler, we know that you always come back, and George, we appreciate you coming back because we know we hope that we want to see those. We want to see those screenshots. So come to the Facebook and just post them on the Facebook, please. We want to see those screenshots of seeing like, hey, I won my matchup. Here's where you guys told me to go, and this is what happened. Even if it's like, fuck you guys suck. Thanks for screwing my team up. You know, like we want to know if we went right by you or went wrong with you, because we had this group chat, and then we get to think, hey man, didn't we tell this guy to play this guy? Didn't we tell him to play JSN this week? Didn't we tell him to play Mike Evans? You know, we want to hear that shit, and we love to see it, because if you guys win, we do. So
facts. So hop up in that Facebook group, ask questions in there as well.
Agree.
Because we don't do nothing for the Sunday night game. So if you hop in there and ask questions, we could tell you. I usually can provide some information on like who's a better captain to run on the showdown slates.
Man, and we need it. We need it. I mean, I need it myself. I need Trevor Lawrence and ETN to go off tomorrow night against Baltimore. So it's in Duval. So maybe they start drowning the Ravens in the pool somewhere, and they don't make it onto the field.
It's supposed. The one thing I will say for that Ravens game, it is already the weather is going to be raining. You know, it may be a little cold. So it may be a sort of, more of a different style matchup at least. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Praying some things go my way so I can try to sneak into this playoff game, and then praying that this first playoff matchup goes pretty well. So, and shout out to everyone in their playoff matchups. Hoping we gave you guys the advice you need to get the W tomorrow.
Best of luck, everybody.
All right, y'all.
Peace
out.